Okay, council members, if I could ask you to turn your cameras on and join the meeting. We'll call the meeting to order. It was called to order at 5:09. We had a closed session and we're back in open session now at 7:01. So welcome to the 68th meeting of council on Monday, June 27th, 2022. I'll note that this is a hybrid meeting with some members of council and the clerk attending in person in the council chambers and some members, staff, and public attending virtually. All rules of procedure and conduct apply to this meeting as if all attendance was in person. If during the meeting, any member of council loses their connection or has technical difficulties, we will pause for a moment to allow that person to try and reconnect within a few minutes. And assuming we still have quorum, we will continue with the meeting. The meetings are live streamed and recorded. So as I said, we've been in closed session. Could I have a motion to rise and report? We moved by Councillor Budrick, seconded by Councillor Parks. The recommendation was that in the continuing interest of transparency and open government, the deputy mayor reports in open session the following outcomes from today's closed session meeting. Minutes of June 13th, 2022 were adopted as circulated. There was direction provided to staff, and that there's nothing further to report at this time. One of the directions from staff was that a report is pending for open session in a future meeting. At this time, we will have the playing of the national anthem. We acknowledge that we are being hosted on ancestral lands of the Haudenosaunee, Mississauga, and Omami-Wendy peoples. We acknowledge and welcome the presence of all Indigenous peoples, including the Métis, Inuit, and other First Nations from across this vast land who make this place home. The lands we are on today are recognized in the Two-Row Wampum, Dish with One Spoon Treaty, Treaty 27, and the Crawford Purchase. So the first item on our agenda is open forum. We have no one registered for the open forum, but I'd ask if anyone's in the audience that wishes to speak in the open forum, please use the raise hand feature to be brought into the meeting. Seeing none. One more time, if anyone wishes to join the meeting in the open forum, please use the raise hand feature and we will bring you in. Seeing none, we will proceed. Confirmation of agenda. Can I have, is there any changes or additions to the agenda as presented?
Not that I'm aware of.
Seeing none, could I have a motion to adopt the agenda as circulated? Councillor Budrick, so moved. Seconded by Councillor Parks. All those in favor, please raise a hand. Motion is carried. Any declaration of pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof tonight from members of council? Seeing none, we have the adoption of the minutes of the June 13th, 2022 council meeting. Council, were there any errors or omissions noted? Seeing none, could we have a motion to adopt as circulated? Moved by Councillor Townend, seconded by Councillor Budrick. All those in favor, please raise a hand. Motion is carried. Office of the Chief Administrator, short-term borrowing for industrial land redevelopment. And we have the CAO with us this evening. Anything to add to the report, Mr. Silver?
I don't have anything further, Your Worship.
Thank you. With that, we have a report in front of us. Okay. Councillor Town.
I move to receive the report and adopt the recommendation.
So moved, seconded by Councillor Budrick. Any comments from council? Seeing none. I'll call a question. All those in favor, please raise a hand. Motion is carried. Corporate services. First one is the resignation of Mayor Rick Brzee. This was received and being presented to council tonight. Any questions from council? Seeing none, there is a recommendation before us. How would council like to proceed? Someone would make a motion. Councillor Budrick.
Receive the letter and accept the resignation.
And adopt the recommendation for a report to come back?
Yes,
Thank you.
I missed that part, my apologies.
Perfect. So moved. Seconder. Councillor Parks. Any comments or from the mover? Seconder. Seeing none. Others? Seeing none, call the question. All those in favor, please raise a hand. Motion is passed. Update on the Integrity Commissioner's report of the Code of Conduct complaint. Council, any questions regarding the report? Seeing none, we have a motion to receive for information. Councillor Town.
I move to receive the report for information.
So moved. Seconded. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Parks. Any comment from the mover? Seeing none. Seconder, none. Anyone else? Seeing none, call the question. All those in favor, please raise a hand. Motion is passed. 2022 municipal election and restricted acts. So council, any questions for staff regarding the report? Seeing none. There is a recommendation with a date to be entered. And in the report, one of the dates that was suggested was August 8th. So council, who would like to make a motion regarding this? And ask again. Does council have a motion to make regarding this report? Councillor Town,
I move to receive the report and adopt the recommendation.
and did you want to receive it with August 8th is the date then,
Yes,
for the revised meeting date? Thank you.
yes.
So moved. Second, Councillor Budrick. Mover, any comment? Saying none. Seconder, anyone else? Saying none, call the question. All those in favor, please raise a hand. Motion is carried.
Your worship.
Yes,
Just with that, there may be a special meeting that's also required, potentially in line with some of the tenders that are coming in, and then we'll just have to wait to see date wise, but there may be,
between the 8th and
yeah,
potentially 8th.
yes.
Okay. Understood. So there may be a special meeting if it's required for taking care of immediate business, but not a full council meeting.
Yeah.
So the next item is the Cataraqui Source Protection Committee municipal appointment. As our mayor was successful in his candidacy, we have a vacancy, and the CRCA would like us to enter a name here for the remainder of the term. Is there a member of council that would volunteer their name to go on this committee? Councillor Townend? You volunteer?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I would put my name forward, yes.
Thank you. Is there another member that wishes to? If seeing none, we have a recommendation and we have a name put forward. Council, would you like to make a recommendation for this? Councillor Budrick,
I would recommend that we accept the nomination of Councillor Town.
so moved, seconded by Councillor Parks. Any comments, questions? Yes,
So just on this, because it is a joint with Greater Napanee, the names will go, we'll let Greater Napanee know that we do have a nomination. We'll see what they do. I believe they're meeting tomorrow night. So if they don't have anybody, then it will go through. If there's a name there, then we'll have to come forward with a report between the members. I think they would do it, or both names could go in. We'll just double check with the CRCA on that.
okay. Thank you for that information. And I just come and thank you, Councillor Townend, for putting your name forward to fill this position for the remainder of this term. With that, I will call the question. And all those in favor, please raise a hand. Motion is carried. Heritage Committee meeting for June 7th, 2022. With items of action in the recommendation. Council, any questions regarding this? Seeing none, I see the director is online. Did you have any further information, director, or just here to answer questions if they arise?
To your worship, I'm only here to answer questions if there are any.
Okay, thank you. So I didn't see any questions. So we do have the recommendation before us, council. How would you like to proceed with this? Does anyone want to make a motion? Councillor Parks.
Oh, sorry. Motion to receive and adopt recommendation 1 and 2.
So moved. Seconded, Councillor Budrick. Any comments from the mover, Councillor Parks? Seconder, Councillor Budrick. Other members of council? Seeing none, call the question. All those in favor, please raise a hand. Motion is carried. The Wilton Road Dam Safety Study. And I guess this falls under Director Merritt as well. Any further information or just available for comment? Questions again?
Through your worship, no further, just to answer questions if there are any.
Council, any questions for staff? Seeing none. We do have a recommendation before us, two-part. Councillor Boudreaux.
Recommendation, we adopt recommendations 1 and 2.
So moved, seconded by Councillor Parks. Any comment? Mover, seconder, any comment? Seeing none. Anyone else? Seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor, please raise a hand. Motion is passed. Delegation of powers and duties bylaw. So this is the delegations regarding the Planning Act. Director Merritt. Did you have any further comments or just available for questions?
Nothing to add, your worship.
Thank you. Council, any questions for staff? Seeing none, we have a recommendation before us. How would we like to proceed? Anyone have a motion? Councillor Boudreaux.
Adopt and enact and pass the recommendations put before us.
So moved. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Parks. Mover, any comments? None. Seconder, any comments? Anyone else? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, please raise a hand. Motion is passed. We're to the notice of motion and direct motion. Are there any notice of motions or direct motions this evening? Seeing none. We're down to the consent agenda. For the purpose of convenience and for expediting meetings, matters of business that are of repetitive or routine nature are included in the consent agenda. And all such matters of business contained within the consent agenda are voted on collectively. A particular matter of business may be singled out from the consent agenda for debate or for a separate vote upon the request of any council. In the case of a separate vote, the excluded matter of the business is severed from the consent agenda. Each and every matter of business contained in the consent agenda is recorded separately in the minutes of the meeting. So does anyone have any items in the consent agenda they would like to separate? Seeing none. Do we have a recommendation? A motion, sorry. Call a second time. Is there a motion for the consent agenda? Councillor Boudreaux.
Receive the items in consent agenda information.
Received for information. Councillor Townend, were you seconding the motion? Seconded. Any comments or questions on any of the items? Seeing none, I will just speak on one of them, 24.2. If I hadn't been in the chair, I would have separated it, but I just wanted to draw everyone's attention to this, that this is, if there's public meetings coming forward, I didn't suggest people take part. This will levy a development charge on all development within the township if it goes through, which means with this and the last one that went through from the other school board, the increase in all of the building within our municipality and all the way up to Highway 7 is going to increase in development charges. The county does have a concern with it and is raising it to the province on the township's behalf. With that, if there's no other comments, I'll call the question. All those in favor of the motion, please raise a hand. Motion is passed. So new business. Updates from members appointed to county council, committees, or local boards. Does anyone have anything to bring forward this evening for the good of the township? Seeing none. Members' privilege. Does anyone have anything to bring forward under members' privilege? Seeing none. I do have one, condolences to the family of David Peterson, who family has been in the township for, well, a few generations at least. So condolences to the family on his passing. And with that, confirmatory bylaw. Could I have a mover for the confirmatory bylaw? Councillor Booger. Seconded by Councillor Parks. Any questions or comments? Seeing none. Call the question. All those in favor, please raise a hand. Motion is passed. Upcoming meetings. July 4th at 6 p.m. Committee of Adjustment. And following that at 6:30, Committee of the Whole. July 11th at 7 p.m. there will be a council meeting. And with that, we would entertain a motion to adjourn. Someone wish to make a motion to adjourn? Councillor Town. Seconded by Councillor Booger. All those in favor, please raise a hand. Motion is passed. We are adjourned. Thank you, folks.